Hey, this is Professor Triplet, and it's time to continue on to the curve section of this lamp. And there's going to be a few sections we do with the curves. One of them will be this one right here. Another one will be the handle. We'll do half of the handle since it's mirrored, so we only have to do half. And then we have this big handle right up the middle here. We'll do that with the curve as well. Okay, let's get started. Let's start off with the easiest one, which is this one right here. As we can see from the reference, this thing wraps around this top handle, and what I've done is I put my screen, or I should say my viewport, in X-ray mode, so then that way we can kind of see through this a little bit and still see the reference. And what we're going to do is just draw a curve right here, have it wrap around. Now I actually have this lamp, so I know that it actually kind of wraps down almost all the way around. So I will go ahead and put that in there. And if anybody is watching my other tutorials, you guys know I like the Bezier curve, so that's what I just selected in my own toolbar. And if you are in the default, you're going to want to use this Bezier curve right there, actually. Okay, so let's just get started. So I'm just going to click down and single click on the first one, and I can go ahead and just click and drag out for this next one. Do the same thing here, click and drag out, and then get to about right here. Probably need a few more points in this area, so because we've got some tight curves here. And let's go ahead and just, now I can follow my, I'm going to follow my reference at first, and then I'll just go ahead and adjust it to the I'll adjust it to the actual pipe. You know what, I don't like that one, so I'm going to drop one like right here first. There we go. Let's drop another one there. Let's drop another one here, and let's just put a last one right there, like so. Okay, so now I need this little circle here that I just made, but to go around up here. So let's go ahead and just get out of this tool, and we'll start moving stuff around. So Control Verts, and I'll just grab all of these, go to my Move tool, and let's just slide it up so it goes right around there, like so. So eventually what we're going to end up doing is taking this curve, we're going to duplicate it, then we're going to loft between the two and make that loft a polygon, and then we'll extrude the polygon. So we have to decide whether or not we're going to extrude out this way or in. And of course, since I followed the inner line, it makes more sense that we extrude out. So that's the strategy going forward. So I'm just going to go ahead and adjust this a little bit. And I'm not really worried about it being absolutely perfect. It just has to, it needs to be close. So I'll just move these in a little bit like so. Let's move that a little bit like so. It helps to drag marquee in select versus clicking, because if I click, I sometimes end up clicking on this. So you could also turn off your geometry filter so you can't actually select geometry. Alright, let's see how we're doing over here. That's pretty good. Alright, let's just take this one and put it like that. And this looks like it's a little bit too curvy, so let's dial this back a little bit. Maybe adjust that. That looks pretty close. There we go. I'm satisfied with that. I think that'll work. Alright, so let's go ahead and get out of this tool. Go to the object mode, and then we'll go ahead and just get back to our perspective view. We can see what we're doing here. So when we draw it, of course, in the orthographic, it's going to land right on the 0 in the world. So we're going to actually want this so it's not on the 0 eventually. But for right now, it should be okay. So let's go to our front view. And let's go ahead and hide. We got to turn our geometry back on there. So let's hide this for a second. So I'm just going to hit Control H just to hide that. And then I'm going to go into my channel box. Let's get that out. And I don't know what happened with the new Maya here, but it keeps taking my channel box and popping it out when I don't want it to, and I try to reset it and it goes right back out. So if you're having that problem, I understand. I identify with you. All right, so let's pull out the front view here so we can see, we can basically get the right size here. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit Control D to duplicate my curve. I selected it and hit Control D. And now I just go back to my move tool and I'm going to slide this over a little bit like so I get the right size. And I'm just matching it up with my reference right here, so you can see that's roughly the right size. I can middle mouse drag too if I want to adjust it a little bit more like so. And eventually we'll move this back to the center because right now it is not centered. So that's okay though. We'll move it back in a minute. We'll take this even and adjust that over a little bit like so. Okay, so we just shift select the second curve and do a loft like so. Now let's go ahead and look at what we got. Now I didn't change the settings on the loft. I believe I have them on polygon already, but if you don't, just double click on this and it'll bring up the loft options. And then what you can do is just hit reset settings like so. We'll change it to polygons here, change it to quads, and then use general, and then I typically use the per span number of isoparms, and then you can basically, like, this becomes like a multiplier, so you can actually ramp it up if you want. Just hit apply and we should get something like that. I would say actually I don't really need the center pieces. Well, you know what, I take that back because it is curved on the bottom, so I'll just leave these center edges in there. You can actually reduce this if I wanted to. I could just make this like 2, hit apply, and then you can see you get 2 edges, or 1 edge that comes in the middle. Okay, but we'll keep it at 3 because I know I'll actually use that eventually. So let's hit apply. All right, so let's go ahead and hit close there, and now we're ready to go forward with this. What I want to do now is I need 2 things. I need to keep my front view around, and then I can hide some of the other views. Let's say ortho layer. Oh, I thought I was on the front view. This is the front view. Okay, so let's make that a reference, and we'll go ahead and just hide some of this other stuff here that we don't need right now. Okay, so what I want to do with this is I'm going to turn X-ray off for a second because I shouldn't need that right now. And see, I just wanted to see which side was the normals facing. So the normals are facing the direction that I want them to be. I can go into my faces here, select everything, and then just do an extrude. So I'm going to go to my tools, my custom shelf, and just grab the extrude, hit it like that, and now just drag along. Oops, I didn't get the right handle. This handle's a little weird, and it's acting weird. Let's do thickness. I know thickness works too. And let's go back into our left view so we can see how thick we need to make this. So I'm thinking probably 2. That's a little bit too much. How about 1.75 or 0.175? That's pretty close. I think that'll do it. Yeah, that'll be fine, because what'll happen is when we put the subdivision on it, it'll smooth out a little bit and it'll get a little bit smaller. It's matching up pretty well. I'm not too worried about it being super perfect on all of this. It just has to be close. So let's go ahead and just drop that, and we'll go in our perspective view, see what we got. And if we go to our front view again, it might be hard to see in the front view. You can actually see it in the side. There's a little curve that comes down here, and I'm just going to grab this right here and just pull that down a little bit. And that's going to go to where that curve goes. And then I can take this object, and you can see if we just take the full object, let's go ahead and just center the center pivot it. So do that. Let's actually delete the history. We'll freeze the transformations. We'll have to freeze the transformations again, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold, well, let's go to my front view first. So let's go to the front view, turn on my grid so I can see it. Okay, so I want to snap this right to the middle. So I'm just going to hold X on my keyboard, and I'm going to snap it over 1. So sometimes I'll drag it down to where I know my cursor's over a point. So that's what I just did right there. So a little cleanup here. I'll go ahead and just hide my curves. I'll go ahead and hit Control G, which will make a group. Put my curves in here, and then we'll call this group the, oh, I don't even know what to call this thing. Brackets. Let's call it brackets. There we go. All right, and then we'll grab this as the lofted surface, drag that inside the group, and then we'll name this with our naming convention G underscore bracket, 1, 0, 1. Or, well, actually, we can just put bracket underscore F, so we'll know that's the front. All right. So that's how you create this piece. Let's do the unwrap right away so we don't forget about it. So let's get that unwrap window out. And wow, look at that. It looks pretty nice already because we did it from a curve. But of course, we know that these are going to be layered on top of each other. And let's see what our... Doesn't look like there's too much stretching going on, but I think that might be wrong. Let's go back to perspective view. Now, what I'm going to do is, like I've done before, I'm going to grab all the faces, and I'm just going to put a planer on this. So just one single planer. It's going to look like that. That's fine for right now because we'll fix it in a minute. So now I'm going to grab my edges. So let's just get all the edges that I want. So I'm going to do the perimeter on the inside is going to be my main edges. Okay. And then I'm going to grab these little corner edges on the top and bottom. And the reason why is that that's like a tension relief point. We have to break those so that we get the relief that we need. Let me hit F on my keyboard to frame it. And I will, let's just move this over. Let's hide that for right now. Okay, that should be enough. Oh wait, one more thing I forgot. This guy right here. So just double click on that to get that loop. And let me make sure, yeah, I did it on the bottom. Okay, we're good there. All right, so now all I have to do with this is go and do a cut and sew and just cut it. So cut, now we've got that thicker edge there, and from there we just have to grab the faces. They're already selected, and we just go in and do a unfold on that. So unfold. There we go. We should have another piece somewhere around here, I believe, unless I did this wrong. Maybe I did it wrong. Oh, wow. Not sure why I did that. It made it like really tiny down here. This piece looks good. That's about what it should look like. Probably be better if it was straight up and down. But I'm not gonna sweat it too hard right now. I could straighten these out if I like, but I've shown that before, so you guys could reference other videos and see how to straighten these edges out. Maybe I'll do that off camera. But this thing's obviously not the right size, so let's just grab everything and do an arrange, and then we should be able to go ahead and get these to be the right size. So layout, there we go. So what the layout did in the settings, if you pull up the layout settings, it'll have options for going ahead and making things the same size. So here, like in the settings here. So what you just have to find is make sure that the scale mode is set to uniform, and that'll go ahead and fix it. So I think by default it is on, so you should be good. All right, now we've got this piece laid out. Let's just move it off of our 0 to 1 space. For now, we'll move it back later, and we can close this up. All right, one last thing that we need to do that I haven't was lay in the extra edges for when we want to smooth this. So let's go ahead, and I'm actually going to go and put a single smoothing on the whole entire object so you can see what happens as I add in these edges. So let's just go ahead and add one in right there. We'll add one in right there. You can see how it's tightening it up. And from there, we can go ahead and just, we might be able to just leave it like that. It's a possibility. Let's add one in here in the corner. And that tightens that up. And the only issue we're going to run into if we do this, if we go ahead and do a corner here, is that, actually now that I think about it, it should be fine. because it is kind of a tight edge right there, so that should be fine. So now when we smooth it, this will be a nice rounded edge, and everything else should be kind of like a crisp edge. So let's go ahead and just see what that looks like. Let's see, W, F3. So there you go. That looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and undo that. I think I missed one thing. Did I? Yeah. I should be putting an edge in right here on both sides. There. There. There we go. Okay. Now it should look really nice. There we go. Nice and tight, bevel, smooth correctly. And then because we did the UVs earlier, it's just going to affect, let me select this here. We were just adding an edge loop, so it's not messing with our UVs at all. It should be fine. You can see like that. So made our life a little bit easier unwrapping it before we added those edges in. So okay, let's go ahead and delete the history, freeze the transformation, and we already have a center pivot on, but we'll hit it again just for good times. And now we are ready to call this one done. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.